everybody, welcome to my living room in front of my Christmas tree. Special video in case you haven't figured out, and I'm doing this in collaboration with my girlfriend Palm Springs Cindy. And if you're not familiar with Palm Springs Cindy, then really you should be. She is a most amazing YouTuber, absolutely gorgeous. One thing I love the most is she's one of those people, like the majority of my YouTube girlfriends, that just radiates beauty and positive energy from her heart, and it is completely contagious. You will absolutely fall in love with Cindy. She is a retired school teacher now, but she started her YouTube channel for exactly the same reason as me, because she really just wanted to bond with women and to share our experiences in a collective forum. If you're interested to hear what the 10 questions are in this Christmas tag, then just continue watching this video. All right, so question number 1. When did you start to get excited about Christmas? And I think I'd have to say this year that it was probably just after Thanksgiving for us in Canada. That's in October, and usually when the snow flies. Once the snow is on the ground, it starts giving me all those really warm and fuzzy feelings of Christmas time. This year, we had some snow in October, but it all basically melted in November. Question number 2, did you ever get advent calendars when you were a child, or do you still receive them? I definitely got advent calendars when I was little. I think I used to get them from my grandma and grandpa from Dublin, and then my mom and dad, they used to buy them, and I absolutely love them, opening every single little door until the countdown to the 25th of December with little trinkets and or chocolates. Those were the best ones. Sadly, I don't get any advent calendars as an adult, although I would have to say that there really is some pretty epic makeup and skincare advent calendars out there, so I might have to give my husband a nudge for next year just as a reminder, and then maybe I will get another advent calendar as an adult. Question number 3, what are some of your favorite Christmas films? So, I mean, I am a sucker for all things sappy and Christmas, but I'd have to say probably some of my most favorites are all of the animated films that I grew up with, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and you know, that's probably one of my most favorite ones. Also, is it called Father Christmas? I really love that one. I love Elf, although it's not animated. I just saw that the other night. It never feels like Christmas until we've watched Elf. And I absolutely love Polar Express with Tom Hanks. And we usually save that for Christmas Eve, just before Christmas Day, because it has such a lovely, I guess, underlying message to that whole film. So those are some of my favorite Christmas films, but there are so many that I absolutely love. Question number 4, do you have any funny Christmas memories? I don't know necessarily about funny Christmas memories. I have amazing Christmas memories because I just had such a wonderful childhood, but probably my fondest memories as a child was my brother, and just how excited he would get about Christmas because there's 7.5 years difference between me and my brother, and oh my goodness, he would just be so excited, and he would just fly off of his bed, and he would run to my bedroom, and he would be like waking me up, and he would want to run out to the living room where the tree was. And you know, my parents always said don't wake us up before 7:30, and he would basically be squealing with excitement, and it was so fun to just see him to try not open any of the actual wrapped Christmas gifts. We would always have a Christmas stocking at the end of our beds, which mom and dad thought that would buy them a little time, but with my brother, it just, he was so excited that it really made Christmas extra special. So those are some of my warmest, wonderful memories of Christmas as a child. child. Number 5, talk us through a typical Christmas morning at your house. Well, as a child, which was a little bit different than as an adult, a Christmas morning was, like I said, we would wake up and we would have our Christmas stockings at the end of our beds, and we would scurry down to the end of our beds, and they would be chocked full, not the big jumbo socks that kids get today. I mean, a real Christmas stocking. And there would always be a mandarin orange in our stocking, and that actually had a very special meaning, because when my mom was growing up and her father, my grandfather, worked in the shipping industry in Dublin, the citrus fruits would come in around Christmas, and they would all be able to take some to their families. And you know, nobody got citrus fruits in the mid portion of winter in Dublin, so it was an extra special treat that everybody loved, and Mom carried that over with us and giving us the mandarin oranges, which is really such a beautiful and special tradition. And then of course we would go as kids, we would open our presents, then we would have a little bit of time, you know, to get our really beautiful outfits on. We would go to Christmas Mass, and then we would come back and we would have a light breakfast, so we can continue to play until we had our Christmas dinner. And as an adult, usually my husband and I, if I'm not working, go to midnight mass, and we would go to the cathedral here in our city where my husband and I got married 22 years ago, which is really lovely. So it holds all kinds of special meanings for us, and they have an amazing choir there. We would come back home. Sometimes we would have like spiked eggnog. We would go to bed if we didn't open a very small gift, and then in the morning we would have a light breakfast, and we would open our gifts to each other, and then we would make the precursory phone calls to all the family members. And then because my mom and dad live in my city where we live, we would head over there around about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and spend the rest of the evening enjoying a wonderful, wonderful Christmas dinner. So that is a typical day. What do you eat for Christmas dinner? Well, traditionally what we would normally eat is a beautiful roast turkey. A lot of times my mom would do a baked ham as well, so you always have that beautiful ham and turkey. We'd always have stuffing for sure. Being that we're Irish, I don't know if anybody else does, we had to have the Brussels sprouts, which I hated when I was a kid, and now I absolutely love them. And we always have 2 different types of potato. We'll have a mashed potato, so you can pour your gravy on that, and we'll also have the roasty potatoes as well, the small little roasties that are so crisp and delicious. And usually green beans with that as well on the plate. And then of course you have your cranberry sauce and all of your condiments. And then for dessert, we would have 2 types of desserts. We would have a beautiful English trifle, which if you haven't had, it's probably my most favorite dessert of all time. It's just angel cake that's steeped in jello with beautiful fruit, and then it's layered with fresh cream, and then you just keep building it up. That's English trifle for us. And then the other dessert is a very traditional, very, very traditional Irish pudding, which is like a very moist version of an English Christmas cake, except it's steeped in brandy and Guinness, and it's really beautiful. And you would slice that thin. You can have it cold or warm, and then we usually pour a bird's eye custard on top of that. So that is our dinner. Just thinking about it makes me kind of hungry. Question number 7, do you have any Christmas traditions? So like I said, the Christmas pudding, the Irish Christmas pudding, is a huge tradition in our family because my mom and dad would make it from a recipe that was handed down to them. And when we were kids, all of that fruit that makes up that Irish pudding has to be steeped for a long time in brandy and Guinness, and it's in a huge big pail, and then we would clean our hands, and then we'd stick our hands down for a turn, and when we would turn all of that around, we were supposed to say a wish that we wanted for Christmas. So it was just a really beautiful part of Christmas. So I just love that tradition because it is so steeped in all that is Ireland and my family, which is most important to me. And then the week before, we have this beautiful place that in our city, we call it Candy Cane Lane, and they take food donations. That's really all. And it is this one long residential street where all of the homeowners go out to town and they decorate their house. And because the weather has been so beautiful this year, it will be an exceptionally good year to go to Candy Cane Lane and just take in all the beautiful sights. And if I go, I will definitely bring a camera and I will post that just to show you what that looks like. But it's so beautiful. And this year, unfortunately, I am working Christmas, and so we will go to midnight mass, but I'll be working until about 4:30 on Christmas Day. You know, I have to say that of all of the beautiful things that come with the Christmas holidays, I would have to say that the music is one of the most beautiful the most beautiful things I love about Christmas. I absolutely love all of the music. I mean, every sappy Christmas song, from Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer to A White Christmas. So I would say anything that Karen Carpenter sings on her Christmas album, every one of those songs I absolutely love. I love her voice. It's so angelic. And then I grew up around Nana Muscuri. My mother had an album. Yes, that I actually said an album, like as in a vinyl. And she would play Nana Muscuri, and some of the songs that were on there were absolutely beautiful. And anytime I hear Little Boy by Nana Muscuri, it just sends shivers down my spine. I don't know if you guys know that song. I'm not much of a singer, but it goes something like this. It goes, old toy trains, little toy tracks, little toy drums, coming from a sack, carried by a man dressed in white and red. Little boy, don't you think it's time you were in bed? Anyways, and it just goes on, but it's about the dreams of this little boy dreaming about Santa Claus and Christmas morning, and her voice is just spectacular. I'm sure I didn't do it any justice, but anyways, one of my all-time favorite songs. Okay, question number 9. What is the best Christmas gift you have ever received? Well, I have received some beautiful, beautiful Christmas gifts, but the best one of all as a child would have to be a doll that my parents bought me, and I wrote to Santa Claus and I hoped and prayed I would get this little doll. And I'm not aging myself, oh no, but the doll was called Baby Alive, and I got it that Christmas because I had been a good girl, and it was an amazing doll. I don't know if you guys all received Baby Alive, but you got the doll with all the diapers, the bottle, the food. Really, I was in heaven. I absolutely love my Baby Alive. I played with her non-stop. And the other Christmas gift was actually not something that someone gave me in a wrapped box with a bow on it, but it was this amazing Christmas. So I was a flight attendant, and I hadn't been a flight attendant for long, and just by the sheer luck of the fact that I wasn't very senior when I started, I ended up in Winnipeg, Manitoba, with my crew for Christmas, and many Christmases after that as well, I might say. If you're not from Canada, you wouldn't know that Winnipeg, Manitoba, I think geographically is almost dead in the middle of our country, and it is a place with plenty of snow with really cold, cold temperatures. And anyways, we got there, and the pilot that we were working with had told us all, you know, make sure you dress really well because it's really cold in Winnipeg, because of course we were doing a layover there, and maybe we could go tobogganing or something, because we weren't out for like 24 hours because it was Christmas. So we were all, brought all of our like snow pants and jackets and our big mitts and scarves and toques, and but that's not really why he told us to bring all that. We were going tobogganing, but what he didn't tell us until we arrived there was that there was these 2 nurses that had been retired that he worked with when he was a bush pilot many, many years before he flew for Air Canada, and they had invited all of us, all the crew, to go to their house to celebrate Christmas with them. And I was just like, what? Like, this is crazy. I mean, I don't even know these women. Do they have a house big enough to accommodate everybody? But they did. And we all got our own rooms and we all got there. And then they basically said, you know, throw on all your snow gear, and had multiple toboggans. And we all went out on this great hill and we had such an amazing night. I think it was just more fun by the fact that none of these people I was working with were like my family. And yet it just felt like we knew each other forever. And then we all got back home, and then they handed out to each one of the crew a stocking that was filled with chocolates and bookmarks and a tangerine or mandarin orange, which was so cool. And then we all snuggled off in our little, you know, hide-a-beds and couch beds all over their house. And the next morning, I remember waking up to the smell of cinnamon and cream cheese they had made, which was one of the gals' specialty, these cinnamon buns. Anyways, I can't tell you, we woke up, we were all dressed, ready to go. We had the limousine driver pick us up at their house because, you know, after that we would have to go to the airport, and they had two big fresh pots of coffee, and they had like 24 massive homemade cinnamon buns. And I can't even remember these two retired nurses' names, but I will just simply say that that entire 24-hour period filled me truly with the spirit of Christmas, and it is not a Christmas memory I will soon forget. I'm sure just by the age of those gals that they may not even be around with us any longer, but they left an imprint on my heart that I will never forget for the rest of my life, because it was the true meaning of Christmas, and I absolutely loved it. And I guess the last question then is the one most polarizing question one could ask on Christmas is my Christmas tree real or fake? And what I'm going to say is, sadly this year, my husband and I do not have a real tree and a fake tree. The convenience of storage, we just have behind me our real fiber optic Christmas tree, but I mean real as in it's a real fiber optic tree, but it's a fake Christmas tree. And I must say, I do miss the smell of a real Christmas tree, because that is a tradition my husband and I started when we got together, and I really, really love it. So at the end of my Christmas tag that I did in collaboration with Palm Springs Cindy, again, I'm going to leave her channel down below, and I would love for you to click on that and go to her channel and just see how she answered the 10 questions. This was really fun to do. Again, all these tags are wonderful for just getting to know each of us a little bit better. So I hoped it helped you to get to know me a little bit better, as I feel that I'm all getting to know you so well. So I'm just hoping that when you see this video, that it gives you warm and fuzzy feelings that I am sending out to you, but you can't see them. I sure hope you feel them. I love you guys all so much. Even the brand new subscribers, you are now just part of this glam squad. And I am so happy that we will be all together, safe and loved and healthy for this Christmas. And I wish you all, as I always do at the end of every video, an absolutely fabulous Christmas. Stay safe and love you all. Bye, everybody.